have a question actually for the panel to address, and that is timing. When we first meet them, you see the film. It's the run up to the war. They make this comment in London. There's a lot of chuckling, particularly when they start the tour again, about, the timing of that South Carolina show where, it's the same time that Bush makes his mission accomplished remark. Tell us a little, I'd like the panel, to all of you, to kind of talk a little bit about timing. And, had they made that comment at a different time, had it been a year ago, had it been a week ago, what's the difference? What's the difference that a day makes? And Judd, do you want to take it first, and then we'll kind of go on down the line?
Sure. Well, I think if they made this comment today, people wouldn't have batted an eye. Chris Matthews was on MSNBC the other day, and he said, I was against this bullshit war from the beginning. And nobody really remembered that comment very much. So I think it was... It wasn't much about them. They weren't, as they say, a political band. They weren't organizing political rallies. They just made one offhand comment that really was, you can see when you watch the footage, pretty much a joke. And I think it really speaks volumes to, one, the atmosphere at the time as far as what was the acceptable range of commentary about the war at that period of time in our history, and also a narrative that the right and the supporters of the president wanted to set up and wanted to plug someone into, that liberals hate the country, they hate America, they'd be better off in Europe, and it was really the perfect pressure point because of their connection with country radio and the demographics of that to really stick it to the Dixie Chicks, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and I think your point about country music, too, is that country music sort of put them in a box. And when you're part of country music, people think that you're very conservative. And as Marty said in the film, we were the all-American girls, and they needed to make an example out of us. And I think country music felt very betrayed that the Dixie Chicks came out and said something against the policies of the government and, against the war at a time when journalists and media people hardly said anything about the war.
Thanks. Yeah, the timing was impeccable. It was right before we were getting ready to take out Saddam Hussein. And I think that they did it on foreign soil right before then was just a kind of an added thing. And also that they were in the country music. If it had been a rock act, I doubt it would have had the same impact. There probably would have been people that were upset if it had been, even Bruce Springsteen, if he had said it at that time at a concert in London, there probably would have been some backlash. I mean, some artists are still getting backlash today. People were walking out of the Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young concerts this summer when they started doing Young's Let's Impeach the President bit. Not a lot of people, but enough people that are longtime fans of CSNY that even for them, at this point of their lives and where their politics are, it was too much for them. But for the Dixie Chicks, it was just the perfect moment, the perfect storm, I guess, as we say now.
Last Saturday was a year since I lost my mom. I'm a Southern boy, and you know how Southern boys are about their mamas. And my mama never liked me cussing in public forums. I failed miserably at that, but this is really inspirational for me. And what you see on the screen tonight, you saw three patriots. I think it was an evolution. I didn't think the timing was all that bad. When I saw it, my first thought as a Southwest Virginia Appalachian hillbilly was, I'm glad the bastard wasn't from there.
Can I ask something?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Sure. Okay. Well, I live in the D.C. area. Free Republic is a online news analysis and activism website, conservative. It just marked its 10th year in September. Nielsen Net Ratings had Free Republic as the #2 political website last August. Other surveys independently have come up with the same rating. It gets more hits than sites like Daily Kos or Democrat Underground or even the Huffington Post. But it's headed up by Jim Robinson, who's out in Fresno, California. He's a former computer software engineer and businessman. And even though he's kind of got this reputation as a Mr. Big, he is and he isn't. So like when it came to what happened with the Dixie Chicks, even though Free Republic was involved, they weren't the only ones. It was just part of America that just got royally pissed off at that time. And with the internet allowing people to connect across the country and share their views, it does tend to pull power where it was a lot harder to do before the days of the internet. It was a lot harder to organize stuff like this and took a lot more time. It happened so quickly just because of the time and the technology involved.
So as a follow-up to that, is being Dixie Chick the same as being swift-boated?
Freaked.
Or freaked, yeah, or freaked. I guess it's become part of the political lexicon. I don't like it when people get death threats over things that they've said like that. Don't like that at all. And but as far as getting into the political arena and Mudcat, this, it's balls to the wall. Can I say that? And
Context more.
it is, and unfortunately, again, at the time the Dixie Chicks and Natalie said what she said, I mean that just made it politics and right into the political arena, and I'm glad that they stood their ground, because during the '90s I was a Clinton hater and I said all sorts of mean and nasty things about Bill Clinton, but I didn't have a concert stage to say it from. I'd go down in front of the White House and talk to the tourists, and every Saturday for about 2.5 years, we went down, a group of us, down to the White House and talked with them about what was going on inside the Clinton White House. And, it's healthy. It's healthy to be able to do that. And foreigners were amazed from some of the oppressed countries that we were doing it and saying what we were doing. But that's the great thing about this country. And, the government didn't crack down on them, but, business and the public, that was a different world.